the only way that you can come to love and accept who you are is to realize that your value is not in your appearance, but who you are as a person. And that is going to be something that you struggle with, possibly, for your entire life. From Venom, everyone needs someone supportive in their life. I am happy that you have one. Yeah, and I don't really think that I ever believed that I would have something like this. I never believed that I was worthy of the kind of love that I've been given, not just by my girlfriend, but also my best friend and other people in my life in general. I'm very lucky to have these people in my life, and I really couldn't be the me that I am today without them. So I agree. From RJ Carter, sorry you had a bad day, and glad you appreciate your girlfriend. By the way, you misspelled appreciation in the title. Yeah, thank you, by the way, for letting me know that, because it was wrong for like almost 24 hours before I got the chance to fix it, so thank you. And yeah, I know I have a lot of friends, a lot of female friends specifically, that are in relationships with guys that do not treat them how they deserve to be treated. They feel really neglected, and the boyfriends are often way more controlling than they should be for the kind of relationship that they have. And I'm very lucky that I have a girlfriend that agrees with the boundaries that I set, and vice versa. And yeah, I am really glad that I appreciate her as well, because if I didn't, I would not get to keep her, and I'd like being able to keep her in my life. From Robbie, responding to the question, does having a degree change you? Not necessarily. Interestingly, many people can not even get jobs in their field. Then some people get a job that they like that has nothing to do with what they went to school with. A person can have a degree, but have an F in common sense or maturity. Yeah, fully agree. If you get a degree in, let's just say for the sake of it, let's say you do like anthropology. Okay, there's not a whole lot of jobs in anthropology. If you get most kinds of bachelor's in arts degrees, if there are jobs in your area, they're often taken up by more qualified individuals with more experience and more education. The fact of the matter is, having a degree doesn't guarantee any kind of job, really. All it does is increase your odds of getting an interview, and that's about it. It's like spending tens of thousands of dollars to be able to skip the queue in line at Walmart, basically, which for some people isn't worth it. For other people, having a degree is absolutely necessary. Going into any kind of medical field, for example, going into any kind of law field, for example. These are areas that require you have a degree for very good reason, because if you're not educated enough to be able to do those things, you shouldn't be representing somebody who's going through a divorce proceeding, or you shouldn't be fixing somebody's brain as a neurosurgeon. You know, there are reasons to have a degree in some fields, but not in others. In my case, it's pretty optional to a degree. Now, you could have a bachelor's in management or even a master's in management and still not be able to get the kind of job that you want. That being said, without the degree, you can, for the most part, be capped at a certain point in your career progression, usually district manager or the level above district manager. It's pretty hard to get into executive level jobs without having the education to back it up, as well as the experience. It just depends on what you're aiming to do. And because I do eventually want to own my own business, having the technical skill and the business training associated with college would help me make less mistakes and lose less real money in a kind of business sense, while also giving me the option, if I ever needed to fall back on working in the management field. And just so everyone's aware, no, having a degree doesn't change you at all. The education you learn along the way and the experiences you have along the way are what shape you, but actually having the piece of paper at the end of the day does nothing to who you are or how you should be acting. From the man, the myth, the legend, Bald Stanley. Everyone deserves a special best friend, and certainly sounds like you have found one sweetheart forever friend. Hope you both have each other's growth in life. Yeah, I would say I'm pretty lucky. Anytime she comes into town, it's like time just hasn't passed between us, and we're able just to catch up immediately and just get along. It's really nice. I am extremely lucky to have someone like her in my life that's has stayed for almost a decade now, which makes me feel so old to think about. Because I really never... She's outlasted every single friend I've had in the past. I've never had a friend last as long as she has, and I don't see a point where we stop talking to each other, so I'm very thankful for that. And last but certainly not least, we have kind of a doozy here from Michael. He was commenting on one of my older young balding videos that I made back in the day. I'm 19. I started balding at 17, and can't stand looking at my old photos. I went from a 7 out of 10 when I had hair to a 0.5 out of 10 as a balding guy. Why this stupid shit even exists? I don't drink, don't smoke, I eat healthy, and this is the reward? Fucking stupid. I'm glad you managed to deal with this, but I can't. I'm too weak. Each and every day is a torture for me. I wish I wasn't born. Wow, that's a lot to unpack there, Michael. Well, first of all, I'm glad that you felt comfortable enough here being able to share your experience, and I hope you don't mind the fact that I'm featuring your comment. But I think that it's important to feature comments like this because it shows oftentimes what can happen when you get too much inside of your own head. Here's the reality of the situation. you are currently balding. You're below the age of 20. And you're going to feel isolated from that fact because a lot of the people around you probably aren't losing their hair at the same age that you are. And that's rough. When you reflect on the fact that finding a sexual partner and doing flings and stuff is going to be a lot more difficult for you is difficult. Worrying about being judged for your receding hairline is going to be difficult. There is no magic snap fix all to make you feel better. You are going to feel like crap for a while, and that's just a reality of life. Now, that being said, it's not as bad as you may think it is. Here's another reality. Life is, ultimately, your attitude towards what happens to you. Now, of course, there are atrocities that can occur in your life that prevent you from ever feeling optimistic, but I would argue that losing your hair is not one of those. Now, here's something that's really cool about this predicament that you're currently in. This is not, ironically, the end of the world for you as far as your ability to look physically attractive. There are things you actually can't do to make your life a little bit easier that don't really involve your hair. Now, if your biggest concern, honestly, is your ability to find a partner, let's just assume that you're straight for a second, that you want to find a girl, okay, for the simple use of pronouns. Let's say you want to get a girl, okay? Well, funny enough, there are actually girls out there that prefer bald dudes over not bald dudes, or don't even care what your hairline is, which already allows you to be able to not have any detriments or many marks against you when you're trying to find a partner. But it gets even better. If you mold your personality, who you are, and also work on fitness, general exercise, you have an even higher chance of impressing girls physically, as well as attracting them to your personality, which I would argue is even more important. See, since I've started shaving my head about 4 years ago, that really hasn't inhibited me from being able to get partners. I've had more girlfriends being bald than before I was bald. And the fact of the matter is, they all dated me because of who I am, the kind of person that I am. And some also like the fact that I had muscles and that I looked like a clean shaven, good looking guy, They also liked other things that I couldn't control, like my jawline or my eye color, things that you also can't control. And the fact of the matter is, there are just things in life we can't control. And you could have a girl who loves apples and is addicted to them even. But if you're not an apple, she's never going to like you. But you're a mango, and another girl who absolutely adores mangoes would absolutely love you. And that's all that really matters. Now, if we're talking about personal perception, okay, and you really hate how you look because you personally feel like you look ugly, that's going to take a little more work on both of our ends to kind of discuss that. And the fact of the matter is, the only way that you can come to love and accept who you are is to realize that your value is not in your appearance, but who you are as a person. And that is going to be something that you struggle with, possibly, for your entire life, depending on how well you mature and the kind of life experiences that you have had leading up to this point and what you'll have going forward. The fact of the matter is, we have to live with the things we do and who we are. And although our appearance can play into a factor of how we perceive ourselves, it shouldn't. You could bash yourself for being a little bit overweight or not having hair, but that doesn't intrinsically change who you are. It just changes how you look at yourself. So I think you should start valuing who you are more as a person than what you look like, because who really gives a shit what you look like, dude? The things that you do and the actions you take are what actually are going to define the life that you lived, not how much hair you had in your head by the time you died. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and do not forget to keep it casual.